Hi, welcome to Drift Stories. I am the voice that will keep you company tonight. Tonight, we are going to a place together, a place where the mountains are not mountains, but 3,000 stone pillars that rose from the floor of an ancient sea 300 million years ago. A place where the fog is not fog, but clouds that spill up from the ravines and gently cover the world below. Now, close your eyes. Let your breath sink slowly down the way morning mist sinks into a valley. You are standing at the main gate of Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. It is 6 in the morning. The sky has just brightened, and the tourists have not yet arrived. In the air, there is the bitter scent of pine resin, the coolness of dew, and the deep sweetness of soil that has been soaked by last night's rain. You hear birds in the distance, not one, but the whole mountain slowly waking up. A woodpecker drums on a fir tree. Thrushes sing to each other in the forest. Sometimes a long cry comes from deep within the valley. It is a macaque calling to its companions. The gate is a wooden archway. On its horizontal plaque are the words Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. The red lacquer on the pillars has faded and cracked, worn smooth as jade by decades of rain. You place your hand on the gate pillar. The wood is cool. Its surface has fine cracks like the back of an old man's hand. You take a deep breath and step over the threshold. The stone path beneath your feet is wet with morning mist. As you walk, it makes a soft scraping sound. The fir trees on both sides are so tall you cannot see their tops. Their trunks are straight, like a row of silent guards. The mist flows slowly through the forest. It does not drift. It flows like a stream moving through the air. You look up. Through the gaps between the firs, the outlines of distant mountains appear and disappear in the fog. Not one mountain, but a whole range of them packed tightly together like blades thrust upside down into the earth. You suddenly understand that you are no longer in the human world. You have walked into a Song Dynasty landscape painting. You have walked into the seabed of 300 million years ago. You board the cable car to Yellowstone Village. The cabin slowly leaves the station, like a bubble rising from the bottom of the water. At first, outside the window, there are still the crowns of fir trees. The dewdrops on the pine needles are so close you could almost reach out and catch them. Then the treetops fall beneath your feet, smaller and smaller, turning into a green velvet carpet. The mist rises from the valley, not in one whole piece, but in wisps, like white gauze scattered and gathered again by the wind. When the cable car passes through the first layer of mist, suddenly there is nothing to see outside the window. You have not closed your eyes. The whole cabin is just wrapped in white softness. The only things left in the world are the gentle hum of the cable car and your own breathing. Then the mist splits open a crack, and a stone peak stabs through the fog. It does not emerge slowly. It is just suddenly standing there, like a giant's finger thrust up from the earth, pointing straight at the sky. The surface of the sandstone is ochre red, traces of iron oxidation. The grain runs horizontally, Every layer is a chapter of geological time, from the Cambrian to the Silurian. Over 300 million years of time pressed into parallel lines. You look at these lines and trace them with your fingertip on the window glass. From left to right, layer by layer, like turning the pages of a book made of stone. The cable car continues to rise. More stone peaks lift their heads out of the fog. Not one or two, but dozens, hundreds, packed like a forest of swords. Every one of them is different. Some are like pagodas, stacked one tier upon another. Some are like bamboo shoots, slender and straight. Some are like folding screens, spreading out a great curving wall of rock. Clouds wrap around the waists of the peaks. They do not cling. They hold them gently, as if every mountain you see is wrapped in a soft white scarf. The cable car sways gently. You feel like a bird crossing through a forest of stone. Except this forest grows no leaves, only silence. The cable car arrives. You step onto Yellowstone Village, 1,200 meters above sea level. The locals have a saying: if you have not climbed Yellowstone Village, you have not truly been to Zhangjiajie. You now understand why. Standing on the viewing platform, stone peaks surround you in every direction, not as a distant view, but so close they press in from all sides. You take 2 steps forward to the railing. Beneath your feet is an abyss. This is not exaggeration. It is truly bottomless. The trees on the valley floor look smaller than matchsticks. The golden whip stream winds through the valley bottom. You cannot hear the water, but you can see it flash once in the sunlight. Like a silver thread, someone casually tossed onto a piece of green velvet. The colors of the stone peaks keep shifting in the morning light. The shaded sides are dark gray and blue-black, like raw iron soaked in water. The sunlit sides are ochre red and warm orange, like pottery fired to completion. The sunlight has just climbed over the mountain ridge to the east. It slants across the tips of the peaks. The tops are bright. The middles are half light, half dark. The bases still sink in shadow. A single mountain holds 3 colors at once, 3 temperatures at once. The wind pours up from the ravine, carrying the damp smell of earth and the clean fragrance of pine needles. You close your eyes. The wind brushes across your face, your neck, the backs of your hands, cool, moist, as if someone is gently wiping your skin with a cotton cloth dipped in cold water. You open your eyes. An eagle glides between 2 distant stone peaks. Its wings completely steel, held aloft by the updraft alone. It circles once, twice, then folds its wings and drops like a pebble into the depths of the ravine. You gaze in the direction it disappeared, and suddenly you feel your own body grow very light, light as a feather held by the wind, slowly, slowly drifting down. Following the stone steps along the ridge, you arrive at the star-plucking platform. Here, a great boulder juts out from the cliff face, suspended in mid-air, with nothing underneath to support it. Just a piece of stone, carved by hundreds of millions of years of wind and water into a diving board reaching into the abyss. Legend says that in ancient times, cultivators of the way would stand on this stone at night and reach up to touch the stars. That is why it is called the star-plucking platform. You walk out onto it, carefully, not out of fear. The stone is steady. It has been reaching out steady and still for 1,000 years. It is the feeling of walking, step by step, into emptiness that makes you slow your pace without meaning to, and slow your breathing as well. You reach the end of the stone and stop. Beneath your feet, there is nothing to see. The clouds have filled the abyss like a bowl of white soup. The clouds churn beneath you. They do not roll. They surge slowly, gently, like a great white jellyfish, expanding and contracting in the deep sea. In the distance, the stone peaks lift their tips out of the sea of cloud, not joined together, but scattered, this one to the east, that one to the west, like a fleet of stone sailboats navigating a white ocean. You stretch out your hand. The clouds flow through the gaps between your fingers. Cool, damp, the sensation like morning mist compressed into silk. You draw your hand back. Fine droplets of water glisten on your fingertips. You press your hand to your face. The coolness travels from your fingertips to your cheek, then sinks to the back of your head, then travels down along your spine. You suddenly feel deeply safe, wrapped in clouds, guarded by stone peaks, softly lit by the morning light. Everything in this world that causes you anxiety is now deep beneath this sea of cloud at your feet. You cannot see them, and they cannot reach you. Leaving the star-plucking platform, you follow the ridge forward. Turning a bend, Five-Finger Peak stands before you. 5 stone columns rise side by side from a single base, staggered in height, like the palm of a giant thrust up from the earth, palm facing upward, 5 fingers slightly spread. The tallest is the middle finger, about 180 meters, the height of a 60-story building. The thumb is the shortest, tilting slightly outward as if pointing towards something in the distance. The grain of the sandstone is exceptionally clear in the morning light. The horizontal bedding is the identity card of sedimentary rock. Every layer represents a quiet geological era when this place was still a shallow sea, and quartz sand grains were carried from ancient lands to the seafloor by rivers, deposited layer by layer, compacted layer by layer. The vertical cracks came later. The crust uplifting, the mountain body fracturing, rainwater seeping into fissures, freezing, expanding, thawing again. Hundreds of millions of years of repeated freezing and thawing cut a whole slab of sandstone into independent stone columns, one by one. Every crack you see now, every line in the grain, is a knife you cannot see, one that took tens of millions of years to make a single cut. Atop the stone peaks grow a few woolling pines. Their trunks are only as thick as an arm, yet they have stood in the rock crevices for centuries. Their roots cannot reach into soil. They can only spread along the cracks in the rock, secreting acid to slowly dissolve the stone and extract minerals. Trees that do not grow in earth, but carve themselves upon stone. You look at these 5 fingers and suddenly feel they are not stone. They are a hand still reaching up from beneath the earth, reaching very, very slowly. In another million years, it will be able to touch the clouds in the sky. Walking further, the southern sky pillar stands out among the peaks. You saw it from far away, not because it is the tallest, but because it is the loneliest. The other stone peaks gather in groups, 2 or 3, leaning together. Only this one stands alone, stabbing straight up from the deep valley, solitary, with nothing around it but clouds circling to and fro. It is thin, very thin. From base to summit, its diameter barely changes. It is just one straight stone column, like a nail pinning down the sky, and also like a giant calligraphy brush someone thrust into the earth. The color of the sandstone here tends toward white. The quartz sandstone is exceptionally pure, with low iron content, so it does not glow red like the other peaks. It is gray-white, and against the blue sky, there is an illusion of near transparency. At the summit, there is also a wooling pine, but only one. From a distance, it looks as though someone has placed a small piece of green velvet on the tip of that nail. An eagle circles the summit. It does not fly. It floats in the air, wings spread and utterly still, held steady by the updraft. You watch that eagle. You watch that solitary peak, and slowly, a strange feeling grows in your heart. Not loneliness, but a very deep quiet. This piece of stone has stood for 300 million years. The wind has come, the rain has come, the snow has come, the thunder has struck. It has not moved. It does not need companions. It does not need an audience. It does not need to be understood. It just stands there, being a piece of stone. And it does this better than anything else in the world. You rest your hand on the railing, your fingertips feeling the warmth of wood heated by the sun, looking at the southern sky pillar, thinking of nothing. This is the first time since you entered Zhangjiajie that you have truly stopped. Not stopped because your legs are tired, but because your heart has stopped. Following the mountain path around two bends, the first bridge under heaven appears. It is not man-made. After two great boulders collapsed, one happened to come to rest horizontally between two peaks, forming a natural stone bridge. The bridge surface is no wider than 2 meters. There are no railings on either side, not because they were never built, but because they are not needed. Everyone who comes here walks slowly and carefully. No one would run on a stone bridge suspended over 300 meters above the ground. You step onto the bridge. The stone beneath your feet has been polished smooth and bright by countless feet. Its grain ripples outward like waves in water, ring after ring. You glance down only once, because the abyss beneath your feet is simply too deep. 300 meters, the height of a 100-story building. The trees on the valley floor are no bigger than sesame seeds. The golden whip stream has become a silver thread wriggling across a piece of green velvet. The wind pours up from beneath the bridge, passing through your trouser legs, the coolness climbing from your ankles all the way to your knees. You raise your head and stop looking down, not out of fear, but out of respect. This bridge has lain here for 3 million years. You are only a momentary traveler passing through its billion-year silence. You walk to the exact middle of the bridge and stop. On your left is one stone peak. On your right is another. Above your head is a sliver of sky. The gap between the two peaks is just wide enough for the sky to squeeze in a strip of blue. A white cloud happens to drift through the gap, unhurried, like a cat passing by your windowsill. You stand in the center of the bridge and open your arms. The distance from your fingertips to each rock wall is exactly the width of a palm. You are not measuring them. They have simply left exactly one person's width for you. You suddenly understand. This bridge is not for crossing. It is for letting you stand quietly for a moment above a fathomless abyss. You leave Yellowstone Village and transfer to another cable car to enter Yuanjiajie. The altitude here is higher, averaging 1,074 meters. The air is thinner, cooler. Breathing it in brings a minty freshness to the lungs. Yuanjiajie is the heartland of Zhangjiajie. If Yellowstone Village is the front hall, then Yuanjiajie is the innermost chamber. This is the real-life location that inspired the floating mountains in the film Avatar. Standing on the viewing platform, you feel for the first time what floating truly means. Hundreds of stone peaks rise straight up from the valley floor. Their bases are hidden by cloud and mist. Only their upper halves are visible. They do not look like they grew out of the ground. They look like they are drifting on the clouds. It is not an optical illusion. The clouds have truly hidden the feet of the mountains, showing you only their peaks, as if nature is playing a trick of its own. The stone peaks are covered in willing pines and azaleas. From a distance, they do not look like individual trees, but patches of green moss growing against the rock walls. Occasionally, a macaque clambers across a cliff face. Its gray-brown fur blends almost perfectly with the color of the rock. Only when it suddenly leaps to grab another vine do you realize a monkey is there. The monkey is unafraid of people, not the unafraid of being fed by humans, but the unafraid of an animal whose ancestors have lived in these mountains for millions of years, and for whom you are the late arriving guest. It sits on an outcropping of rock, glances back at you once, and then continues gnawing its wild fruit. You raise your camera and then lower it. Some things lose their weight when you photograph them. It is better to look a little longer with your own eyes. Rounding a mountain pass, the Changkung Pillar appears before your eyes. Foreign visitors call it Hallelujah Mountain because it was a prototype for the floating mountains in Avatar. But the local elders call it the Changkung Pillar. Chang is heaven, Kung is earth, a single pillar connecting heaven and earth. You can understand why Cameron chose it. This stone column is simply too slender to be stone. It rises straight up from a valley 3,000 feet deep. Its diameter is only a few dozen meters, yet it is over 1,000 meters tall. The proportions are so extreme, they do not seem like a work of nature, but rather something a giant carved out with a chisel, column by column. The sandstone is gray-white, glowing with a faint pearlescence in the afternoon sun. Across the middle of the pillar, there are several horizontal cracks. From them grow small clusters of ferns and moss. From a distance, they look like green flowers embroidered on a white robe. The clouds surge up from the valley floor, not from one side, but from every direction at once. Yuanjia is a vast natural bowl, and the clouds are like white liquid slowly pooling at the bottom, slowly rising. The base of the Tiankun pillar has already been swallowed by the clouds. Its middle is half hidden, half visible. Its top is still lit. The sunlight falls exactly on that small patch of willing pines at the summit, the pine needles shining as if coated in gold. You look at this pillar that connects heaven and earth, and a picture suddenly surfaces in your mind. Hundreds of millions of years ago, this was a warm, shallow sea. Sunlight could reach all the way to the seabed. Trilobites crawled across the quartz sand. Its nautiluses floated through the water. Then the earth's crust lifted. The seawater receded. The The sand became stone, and the stone was carved by wind and rain. The rock beneath your feet may be the last place a trilobite ever crawled across before it died. The enchanted terrace is not a single stone. It is a viewing platform jutting out from the cliff face. It has this name for a reason. Standing here, you truly do become enchanted. Not lost in direction, but lost in the scenery. You stand at the railing. Before your eyes is not a view, but a sea of stone peaks. Hundreds of solitary quartz-sandstone peaks surge up from the valley floor, packed densely one after another, stretching all the way to the horizon. Clouds surge around their waists, as if someone has hung countless strips of white gauze between the mountains. When a breeze passes, the white gauze flutters gently. The pointed summits emerge from the clouds, high and low, dark and light. The near peaks are dark green because the outlines of the pines are clearly visible. The far peaks are pale blue because the air has pushed them back, layer by layer, until they almost dissolve into the color of the sky. The most distant peaks are no longer green or gray at all. They are sky cerulean, pasted against the sky like paper-cut art. It suddenly occurs to you, is this not a paper cut? The foreground is the inky silhouette of pine branches. The middle ground is the blue-gray layering of stone peaks. The distance is the faint cerulean of mountains at the edge of sight. You have seen the work of paper-cut artists. A single sheet of red paper, a pair of scissors. Yet the pattern they cut holds many layers of depth. So the landscape of Zhangjiajie is the work of the world's most ancient paper-cut artist. The scissors of geological time took 300 million years to cut out these stone peaks, layer by layer, and paste them between heaven and earth. Your gaze moves from near to far, and then from far back to near, as if your eyes are stroking a vast painting. You cannot touch the stone, but you can touch it with your eyes. The back garden is the deepest part of Yuanjiajie. Tour guides may not bring you here because the path is not easy. First, you must descend a steep flight of stone steps, squeeze through a narrow crack in the rock, then follow a short plank walkway along the cliff face. But you have come. As you descend the steps, the light dims layer by layer, and the air cools layer by layer. Not because the sun is setting, but because you are walking into the shadow of the stone peaks. As you pass through the rock crevice, the walls on either side are so close you could stretch out your arms and touch both at once. The surface of the stone is icy, rough, damp, covered in a layer of dark green moss, and to touch it is like touching a piece of velvet soaked in cold water. The moment you step out of the crevice, you freeze. There are not one or two stone peaks here. It is a jungle of stone pillars, not grown tree by tree, but 100 stone columns packed together, dense and crowded, like a bamboo forest in the land of giants. Atop every pillar grow a few woodland pines. Their crowns spread out at the summit. From a distance, they look like small green clouds resting on stone. The sunlight seeps down through the gaps between the peaks, beam by beam, painting dappled patterns of light and shadow on the grass of the valley floor. You hear water, very soft, very faint, like someone in a far corner, gently stirring a cup of water with a spoon. You follow the sound and find a thin spring seeping from a crack in the rock, dripping down along the moss. Drop by drop, each drop shattering on the stone, into even smaller beads of water. You crouch down and catch a drop with your fingertip. You bring it to your lips. Cool, sweet, carrying the mineral taste of rock. This is not a bottle of mineral water. This is seawater from 300 million years ago that traveled through the sandstone for 300 million years and, from this crack in the rock, has seen sunlight once again. Taking a bus out of Yuanjiajie, winding around a few mountain bends, you arrive at Tianzi Mountain. The terrain of Tianzi Mountain is different from Yuanjiajie. The stone peaks of Yuanjiajie are jammed together, like a crowded stone marketplace. Tianzi Mountain is spread open. Between the mountains stretches a vast sea of cloud. The view is so open, it feels like standing on the roof of the world. There is a legend here. During the Ming Dynasty, the Tujia chieftain Xiang Dakun rose up in rebellion against the imperial court. He called himself King Xiang, the Son of Heaven, and fought a guerrilla war in these mountains for 40 years. The place names you can see now: Tianzi Peak, Imperial Brush Peak, Fairy Scattering Flowers, the General Mustering Platform. All are names left behind by his story. You stand on the viewing platform of the Tianzi Pavilion at an altitude of 1,262 meters. The wind here is much stronger than at the foot of the mountain. When the wind blows, you hear a strange sound. Not the sound of wind, but the sound of pine waves. Tens of thousands of willing pines across the mountainside are swept by the same gust of wind. Their needles rub against one another and produce a low, long drawn-out whoosh, like the sigh of a distant ocean. The wind stops. The pine waves stop with it. The whole mountain falls silent. Then another gust comes, and the pine waves rise again, from far to near, like ocean swells beating upon the shore, one after another. You close your eyes. You let the wind pass through your ears. The sound of the pine waves washes away your thoughts, layer by layer. You think of King Xiang, the Son of Heaven. On some evening, 600 years ago, he too must have stood here and listened to the same pine waves. Back then, there were no viewing platforms, no railings, no stone-paved paths, only stone peaks and pines and clouds. Comparing a person to a mountain peak, comparing a dynasty to a geological era, it is like measuring the Yangtze River with a grain of rice, a comparison that holds no meaning at all. Walking 200 meters down from the Tianzi Pavilion, rounding a grove of pines, Imperial Brush Peak appears before you. This is the most iconic view of Zhangjiajie. Several slender stone peaks rise straight up from a single base, staggered in height, tallest at the far right, descending step by step toward the left, like a row of calligraphy brushes thrust upside down into a brush holder. Legend says that King Xiang, the Son of Heaven, reviewed official documents here. When he finished, he stuck his brushes upside down into the ground, and the brushes turned to stone. Of course, you know the real cause is joint cutting and differential weathering of the rock. But when you stand before it, you would rather believe the legend. Because these stones truly look too much like brushes. The top of each column is slightly swollen, like the tip of a brush. Below is the long, straight shaft. The proportions are so perfect, you could suspect them to be the work of a sculptor. The setting sun happens to slant in from behind Imperial Brush Peak. lining the silhouettes of the stone peaks with a rim of gold. The grain of the sandstone is especially vivid in the sidelight. Every horizontal bedding plane is illuminated like a strip of light, ring after ring from bottom to top, like the staff lines on a musical score. You count them. There are about 20-some layers, each one representing hundreds of thousands of years. That means the brush before you has recorded 20 million years of the Earth's diary. The clouds spread up from the base of the peaks. They are not an overwhelming thick fog, but pale and thin, just barely covering the roots of the stone columns. Imperial Brush Peak looks as if it is standing in a pool of white ink. You look at this row of stones and suddenly feel that perhaps King Shang really did use these brushes, and what he wrote was the biography of this landscape. Following the ridge a few hundred meters further, fairy scattering flowers appears. This is a stone peak shaped like a young woman standing in profile. She holds a flower basket in her arms. The rim of the basket is slightly irregular, as if vines are spilling out of it. Legend says she was the daughter of King Xing, the son of heaven. After her father fell in battle, overcome with grief, she stood here and scattered handfuls of wild mountain flowers toward his battlefield. Where the flowers fell, they turned into azaleas that now blanket the mountains. It is a sad story, but as you look at this stone peak, your heart does not feel heavy, because the sun is setting and the pale golden light falls on the side of her face, warming the ochre red of the sandstone until it glows. You can even see her hairpin, a small protrusion of rock at the summit, looking in the evening light like a bun loosely pinned at the back of her head. On her shoulders grow a few clumps of azaleas, not the legendary sea of azalea blossoms, but real azaleas, rose red, stubbornly lifting their heads from the crevices in the stone, swaying gently in the evening breeze. The sea of cloud in the distance has turned golden, not a dazzling gold, but that particular gold of late afternoon, so gentle it makes you want to sigh, like honey diluted 100 times and brushed across the edge of the sky. You know that soon the sun will slip behind the stone peaks. You blink very, very slowly. You do not want to miss a single second of the twilight. This is the last detail of evening you will see on the mountain, and you will carry it with you into sleep. You stand on the top floor of the Tianzi Pavilion. This is the highest point of Tianzi Mountain. All the stone peaks of Zhangjiajie lie beneath your feet, spreading out from near to far, layer upon layer. The closest is the dark green pine forest. The middle distance is the blue-gray cluster of stone peaks. The farthest is the pale purple silhouette of distant mountains. And at the very edge of sight, there is already the color of the sky itself. Those are not mountains, but a barely visible line on the horizon, like a faint stroke of pencil on paper. The sun is setting. It is not slowly sinking. It only feels slow because you are watching. If you were not watching, it would slip away without you knowing. The colors of the sunset deepen, layer by layer, from gold to amber, from amber to orange, from orange to crimson, from crimson to an indescribable gray-violet. That is the last layer of light before the sky turns dark, like the embers in a furnace. still glowing but no longer warm. The shadows of the stone peaks grow longer and longer, stretching from the feet of the mountains all the way into the depths of the valleys. The shadow of one stone peak happens to fall across the waist of another. Two stone peaks shake hands through their shadows, and then the shadows slowly sink into the twilight, and the hands let go. You think of this morning, standing before the main gate of the forest park, your hand touching that wooden pillar washed by decades of rain. It was only 12 hours ago, but it feels like a very, very long time has passed. Not because you have walked a great distance, your body is not tired, but because you have looked at too much stone, and the time of stone is different from yours. A stone's one day is your 300 million years. Your one day is merely a single breath of the stone. You watch as the last ray of sunset pauses on the tip of a nameless stone peak, just for a moment, and then slips away. The sky turns from gray violet to deep blue. The first star lights up directly above the summit. You slowly close your eyes. Let today's mountains stay in today. Let tonight's night hold you safe. Good night. Last night, we watched the last ray of sunset fade from Tianzi Pavilion and fell asleep pillowed by the shadows of the stone peaks. Tonight, we walk down the other side of Zhangjiajie. No more climbing, no more distant views. We descend into the valley floor, into the sound of the stream. Now, close your eyes. It is 6:30 in the morning, and Golden Whip Stream still lies in the half-light between darkness and dawn. You stand by the stream, and the first thing you notice is the sound. Not the sound of water, but the sound of silence. A deep and wide silence. With the stream flowing softly at its bottom, like a piece of silk being slowly pulled across a smooth stone slab by the wind. You step onto the footpath along the bank, the wooden planks damp with dew, giving a soft creak under your weight. The stream is on your right, just 2 or 3 steps away, and it is not deep. At its deepest, it reaches only as high as your thigh, and at its shallowest, it barely covers your ankle. The water is transparent, not murky, not green. So clear, you can count every pebble on the riverbed. Pebbles of ochre, gray, cyan, white, and a few of pale purple. Traces of manganese in the quartz. Sunlight spills over the eastern ridge, filtering through the leaves of firs and maples, painting countless flecks of shattered gold on the water's surface. The flecks are not still. The stream flows, and the flecks flow with it, dancing, spinning, gathering, and scattering on the water, like a school of luminous fish dancing on the surface. You walk along the stream, the stone peaks revealing their pointed tops above the tree canopy on both banks. Not just 1 or 2, but rows and rows of them lining the valley on either side, like silent giants, bowing their heads to watch the stream flow past their feet. You stop at a shallow bank, take off your shoes, and dip your feet into the stream. The water is cooler than you expected. Not the cold of ice, but the cool of a mountain spring in early summer. The kind of cool that makes you draw a soft breath, and then every pore on your body slowly opens. The water rises above your ankles, forms a small eddy on the tops of your feet, then continues downstream. You look down at the stones on the riverbed. Every one of them is rounded and smooth, their edges worn away by hundreds of millions of years of flowing water. You pick out an ochre pebble with your fingers and lift it from the water. The moment the stone leaves the stream, its color shifts from ochre red to a dull gray. The stone's true color exists only underwater, and leaving the water is like closing a book. You turn the stone over, and on its back there is a thin white quartz vein, fine and winding, like a miniature lightning bolt sealed inside the stone. You put it back into the water, not dropping it, but placing it gently, letting the stream cover it again. You keep walking. In some places, the stream runs fast, the water crashing against stones and throwing up white spray with a rushing sound. In other places, it slows to a crawl, the surface flat as a mirror, reflecting the shadows of trees and stone peaks on both banks. The peaks in the water are slightly stretched by the ripples, appearing thinner and sharper than the real ones, like a paper cut soaked in water. It occurs to you that Golden Whip Stream is itself a pair of scissors. It has spent millions of years cutting itself a 7-kilometer path through this forest of stone. Every step the stream has walked was cut from the rock. Walking to the middle section of Golden Whip Stream, a stone peak appears in the distance. Unlike the others, it is not part of a cluster. It stands alone, straight, piercing the sky from the hillside beside the stream, over 300 meters tall, as if a giant drove a stone pillar into the bank as a landmark. This is Golden Whip Rock, the peak that gives the stream its name. The legend says that the first emperor of Qing possessed a divine whip that could drive mountains into the sea. He was driving the peaks toward the ocean with his whip. And when he reached this place, the divine whip suddenly turned to stone. That stone is the peak you now see before you. You stand by the stream and look up at it. From the valley floor, it feels taller and more imposing than any peak seen from a mountaintop. Because you are at its foot now, the height is a solid 300 meters, and you have to tilt your head all the way back to see its summit. The sandstone surface here shows a particular ochre gold color, iron oxidized into a thin film of hematite covering the quartz-sandstone, reflecting a metallic sheen under the sun. Not a dazzling sheen, but a dark, subdued one, a warm gold like a bronze statue washed by rain for 100 years. Wooling pines also grow on the top of Golden Whip Rock, not just one or two, but a small grove, looking from below like a green velvet cap perched on the stone's head. The stream flows past the foot of Golden Whip Rock, bending here, making a crisper sound than elsewhere. Because the riverbed stones in this section are especially large, and the water squeezes through the gaps between them, turning into countless small waterfalls. You look up at Golden Whip Rock once more. The sunlight happens to strike the hematite band across its middle, and that band lights up like a golden belt wrapped around the stone's waist. You suddenly feel that the legend of the first emperor may be more than a legend. In some dimension, this stone peak truly is a whip, not a whip that drove mountains, but the whip mark of time lashing against stone. Continuing along the stream, the azaleas along the path grow more abundant, pink, magenta, white, clustered in bunches emerging from cracks in the stone walls, their petals still holding morning dew. As you walk, You notice the sound of water ahead has changed. No longer the rushing of a stream, but a deeper, muffled sound, like someone striking a drum in a deep place. You round a bend, and purple grass pool appears before you. It is a deep pool, half enclosed by stone walls, no more than a dozen meters across, but the color is so beautiful, it seems unreal. The color is something between purple and green, a shade that defies description. Near the shore, it is a transparent light green, growing deeper toward the center, until at its deepest, it turns to dark purple. The stones at the bottom of the pool have genuine purple algae growing on them. Not a vivid purple, but a dark purple, a gray purple, like the color of violet petals soaked in water for too long. Light filters through the gaps in the canopy above, casting circles of light on the water's surface, one ring after another. As the rings move, the purple algae flickers between light and dark. You sit on a stone by the pool, dipping your feet into the water. The water here is cooler than upstream, the chill climbing from your soles up through your calves, your thighs, your spine, all the way to the back of your head. You close your eyes and you hear water droplets seeping out of the moss on the stone walls, falling one by one onto the pool's surface. A soft, singular note, then another. Not continuous, but every 3 or 5 seconds a drop falls, each one sending out a tiny, delicate ripple that expands outward from the center, touches the stone wall and bounces back, intersecting and overlapping with the next ripple, then fading together. Without noticing, your breathing has synchronized with the rhythm of the droplets. Breathe in, wait for a drop to fall. Breathe out, watch the ripples spread. You sit by purple grass pool for a long time, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 20. You have not looked at your watch because you no longer need to know the time. Leaving purple grass pool, Golden Whip Stream converges with 3 tributaries ahead. This place is called Waters Around 4 Gates. 4 stone peaks stand on 4 sides, like 4 colossal stone gates positioned around the streams. Golden Whip Stream flows in from due north. Mine Cave Stream joins from the west on the left, and Pipa Stream enters from the east on the right. The 3 streams circle around a triangular sandbar in the river, then merge into one, and continue south. You stand on the sandbar enclosed by stone peaks on all sides. Directly ahead is a curved stone wall spreading like a folding screen. Behind you, a solitary spire-shaped peak. To your left, a flat-topped stone pillar like a tabletop. And to your right, 2 peaks standing side by side as twins. You turn in place, a full circle, and every degree is stone peaks. No gap, no exit. Clouds begin to drift down from the summits, not descending as a whole sheet, but first spilling from the top of one peak, trickling down the rock face like someone upturned a cup of milk in the sky. You watch the clouds flow downward from all 4 sides simultaneously, all 4 peaks donning white veils, the hems of the veils dropping lower and lower, nearly touching the top of your head. The sound of water here is 3-dimensional, not from one direction, but from every direction at once. The stream behind you crashing against stones with a crisp rush, the left tributary shallow and making a fine trickling murmur. the right tributary dropping from a massive boulder with a low rumble. These three water sounds weave into a net of sound around your ears, wrapping you from head to toe. You sit on the sandbar, doing nothing, thinking nothing, only listening, only watching. Stone gates on four sides, clouds overhead, water beneath your feet. You suddenly feel like a tiny seed, guarded by four doors, resting quietly in the palm of the river. Emerging from waters around four gates, you board a small train that follows the canyon floor into the 10-mile gallery. This is not a gallery. There are no walls, no frames, no exhibition labels. This is an exhibition nature has put on for itself. The exhibits are stone, and the hall is a canyon 5 kilometers long. The train moves very slowly, its wheels pressing against the narrow gauge track with a rhythmic click, like a giant metronome counting the speed of your heartbeat. You sit by the window, and outside, the stone peaks lining both sides of the canyon slide past your eyes one by one, like paintings. They do not slide past quickly. The train's speed is just right for you to see every angle of a stone peak completely, from the front, from the side, from behind, and then it slowly retreats behind you as the next peak emerges from the distance ahead. The canyon is very narrow, and at its tightest point, the stone walls on both sides nearly touch. The train squeezes through the gap between them, your hand pressed against the window glass. The stone wall so close, you feel you could reach out and touch the moss on its surface. The air here is cool and damp, carrying a faint, bitter fragrance of ferns, not the scent of flowers, but the scent of leaves, the scent of green. You see vines hanging from the stone walls. Not just one or two, but an entire wall draped in vines, stretching dozens of meters from top to bottom, like a green waterfall pouring down the rock face, except this waterfall is frozen in stillness. The vine leaves flutter gently in the breeze, and the green waterfall suddenly ripples with a fine, upward rolling wave, because the wind is rushing up from the canyon floor. You watch this green waterfall and think, if sound had a color, this sound would be green. The train slows at a bend, and the announcement says, "Ahead is the herb-gathering elder." You look toward the cliff on the upper right, a stone peak, and from the side it looks most like an elder, slightly bent at the waist, as if carrying a bamboo basket on his back, his head bowed a little, as though climbing step by step up a mountain path. The legend says that long ago, there was an old Tujia herbalist who spent his entire life gathering herbs in these mountains, and he knew what ailment every plant in the mountains could cure. One year a plague came, and he went into the mountains and found the life-saving herbs, but he himself never made it back down. He collapsed on the mountain path and turned to stone. This peak is his figure. You know that mountain plants do not actually stand on rocks waiting for you, but those clusters of ferns growing from the position of his basket really do look like a full load of freshly picked herbs. You look at this petrified elder, and there is no sadness in your heart. What comes to you is his last moment alive. Perhaps the evening sun was slanting across the cliff just like this, and he was carrying a basket of herbs he had just gathered, thinking only of the patients waiting below who would be saved. Then he stopped, wanting to turn back and take one last look at the mountain where he had gathered herbs all his life. And in that moment of turning back, time did him a kindness, keeping him and this mountain together forever. The train slowly rounds the bend, and the silhouette of the herb-gathering elder slides past the window, growing smaller and smaller, more and more distant. You turn your head, watching him until he merges into the gray stone wall of the canyon, and you can no longer tell where the elder ends and the stone begins. The train continues forward, and Three Sisters Peak emerges from the canyon mouth ahead. 3 stone peaks stand side by side. The one in the middle is the tallest, the ones on the left and right slightly lower, and the 3 stand very close together. From a distance, they look like 3 sisters linking arms and gazing at the distant scenery. The eldest sister is in the middle, the most steady, with the widest and thickest body and the most willing pines on top. The second sister is on the left, her form slimmer, her summit tilting slightly to the left as if listening for something. The youngest sister is on the right, the shortest and most delicate, with a few broken stones piled on her peak. Not rubble, but arranged in a shape that happens to resemble a hairpin. The wind passes through the canyon, and the 3 peaks make faint sounds together. The fine fragmented sigh of wind threading through stone cracks and pine needles. The 3 sisters have stood here for who knows how many tens of thousands of years. They have watched this canyon change from river to dry valley, from dry valley to forest, from forest to a scenic spot with visitors coming and going. The sun rises on their left and sets on their right. One day for them is one rotation of the earth, and they have spun over 30 million times. When you look at them, are they looking at you too? No, they look at no one. They are simply waiting for the next crustal uplift, the next ice age, the next cycle of seas turning to mulberry fields. In the world of stone, all human anxieties and plans are as light as dust settling on their shoulders. A gust of wind comes, and they are gone. The train slowly passes the foot of Three Sisters Peak, and you smile at them. You do not know why. It is just a very natural smile, the kind you would give to an old friend. You emerge from the 10-mile gallery and board another cable car, crossing over a mountain ridge toward Tianmen Mountain. This cable car is different from yesterday's. Yesterday, you ascended slowly among the stone peaks. Today, you are crossing directly over the mountain. The cabin hangs from a steel cable, gliding from one mountain top to another. Below your feet is first the canyon of the 10-mile gallery, then a vast expanse of forest, and then the view suddenly opens. What you see is no longer stone peaks and pines, but the entire range of western Hunan's mountains, stretching to the invisible horizon in layer upon layer. Like waves of the sea, you are not looking at one mountain, you are looking at an ocean of mountains. The cable car passes a support tower, and the cabin sways gently. Not a dangerous sway, but the sway of a cradle. You lean against the seat, your cheek pressed to the window glass. The glass is cool. The sky outside the cabin has shifted from the light blue of morning to the deep blue of afternoon, and a few clouds rest motionless above the distant ridges. You watch the earth slowly rotate through the window. When the cable car turns, it gives you an almost overhead view. You see a solitary Tuja stilted house with gray tiles and white walls, crouching on a hillside terrace halfway up the mountain. Beside it, the flooded rice paddies are scattered across the slope like countless tiny shattered mirrors. A wisp of cooking smoke rises from the roof of the stilted house, climbing straight up, then, at a certain height, suddenly scattered by the wind. The white threads of smoke drift apart like dandelion seeds. Someone is cooking over a wood fire in the kitchen. Someone in the embrace of this mountain is living a life entirely different from yours. He may have never left this mountain in his life, while you have flown 1,000 miles just to see the stones he passes every day. You feel that the two of you, separated by 2,000 meters of altitude and two entirely different lives, have shared the scent of the same wisp of cooking smoke in this 1 second. A cable car lands at Tianmen Station, and you step onto the summit platform of Tianmen Mountain. The air is thinner and cooler now, at an altitude of 1,518 meters. This is the highest point in Zhangjiajie. You walk along the path through a grove of fir trees, and then the view suddenly opens. Heaven's Gate is right there. You do not see it from a distance. It is directly ahead of you, so close that you stop in your tracks involuntarily. This is the highest natural arch in the world, a massive hole piercing through the mountain at an elevation of 1,300 meters. The arch is 131 meters high, 57 meters wide, and the distance from the top of the arch to the bottom is equivalent to the height of a 40-story building. You have seen many caves, but those caves recede inward. This hole goes straight through from one side of the mountain to the other, and standing on this side, you can see the blue sky on the far side. It was formed by a combination of dissolution and collapse. Limestone dissolved by rainwater, the cavity expanding continuously, until at one moment, the entire mass of rock collapsed, leaving this giant arch piercing through the mountain. It does not look naturally formed, but rather as if a giant punched a hole through the mountain with its fist. You begin to climb the stone steps. It takes 999 steps to reach the base of the arch. Each step is not high, but you climb very slowly, not because of fatigue, but because every few steps you cannot help looking up at the arch, which is getting closer and larger. It exerts a strange pull on you, as if the mountain is breathing through this hole, and you're walking into the mountain's breath. You have arrived directly beneath Heaven's Gate. You look up. The 131-meter arch hangs above your head, the rock walls on both sides tilting slightly inward to form a natural archway. You stand inside this gateway, and the wind rushes in from the other side of the mountain through the opening, sweeping over you. Not a gentle wind, but the canyon wind of the arch, carrying the coolness of the mountain's far side and the scent of pine resin. You turn around and look outward from inside Heaven's Gate. In the distance is a road you came by, the winding mountain highway. It is not an ordinary road from Heaven's Gate down to the foot of the mountain. The drop is over 1,000 meters, and the road twists and coils along the cliff face, with 99 hairpin turns in total. From where you stand, the road is not a line. It is a crumpled white ribbon, winding fold after fold across the mountainside, 99 folds before reaching from summit to base. You see a small white bus slowly making its way along the road. From your height, it is only the size of a grain of rice. But when it turns, the brake lights flash once, a red point blinking in the green forest, like someone pressing the tip of a cigarette on the mountainside. You try to count the bends, not really counting, but following the folds of that white ribbon in your mind, silently reciting 1, 2, 3, 4. You give up at 17 because the road has wound around to the back of the mountain and you can no longer see it. But you know it is still winding 18, 19, 20, all the way to 99. You remember the sea of stone peaks you saw yesterday from Tianzi Mountain. If you look at those hundreds of stone peaks through the perspective of the 99 bends, every stone peak is also a bend in the road, not a bend for wheels, but a bend for the eyes. Take one step, and the angle of the peak shifts once. Reach the end, and the peak has turned its face 99 times. The mountain is always changing, only it changes so slowly that you think it is still. From a side path beside Heaven's Gate, you step onto the Ghost Valley Plank Road. This plank road is not wide. At its narrowest, only 2 people can pass sideways. On your left is a vertical stone wall. Overhead, the limestone arch you can touch, and on your right is a suspended abyss, and the surface beneath your feet is made of glass, transparent tempered glass laid on a steel frame. When you look down, you see the 1,000-foot void directly below. Your first instinct is to lean toward the stone wall, your right hand gripping the iron chain bolted to the rock face. Not because your body is weak, but because your brain instinctively refuses the fact that the ground beneath you is transparent. In your mind, you tell yourself the glass is very safe. It can bear several tons of weight, but your calf muscles still tighten involuntarily. You take a deep breath, the cool mountain valley air filling your lungs, and you take your first step, then the second, then the third. By the 5th step, you discover something remarkable. As long as you lift your head and look at the distant scenery, you will not be afraid of the abyss below. So, you keep your head raised, looking at the peaks on the opposite side, looking at the pine tree at the end of the glass plank road, looking at the clouds slowly pouring in through the canyon mouth like a white tide. When the sun shines on the glass plank road, you can see your own reflection beneath the glass, a suspended version of yourself facing you head-on. You stop and look down at your own reflection and feel that the reflection is looking back at you. Across 4 centimeters of tempered glass, you have reached a quiet understanding. You are not afraid of it, and it will not fall. When you reach the end of the plank road, you look back. The 200-meter glass path traces a line of light along the cliff face, and you have walked it. You once stood on glass 300 meters above the ground and watched clouds flow beneath your feet. Walking to the summit on the other side of Tianmen Mountain, you suddenly hear a sound of bronze bells. Not a telephone ring, but the crisp, distant sound of wind stirring bronze bells, like someone on the other side of the mountain gently tapping a bowl. You follow the sound through a grove of fir trees, and Tianmen Mountain Temple appears before you. The temple is not large. There is no resplendent main hall, no grand array of 500 arhat statues. It is simply a small mountain temple with gray tiles and white walls, quietly crouching on the edge of a cliff at 1,500 meters. In the open ground before the temple stands a 1,000-year-old ginkgo tree. Its trunk so thick it takes 3 people to encircle it, its canopy shading half the temple gate. When the wind blows, the ginkgo leaves make a soft rustling sound. different from the soughing of pines, which is a low hum. The ginkgo is a crisp rustle, like a pile of old papers being gently turned by someone. You walk through the temple gate, and the courtyard is empty, not desolate, but tranquil. A small bronze incense burner stands in the center of the courtyard, 3 sticks of incense still burning, their pale smoke rising in thin threads, stirred apart mid-air by a light breeze. The air is filled with a mingled scent of sandalwood and fir resin. Bronze bells hang from the temple's upturned eaves. Not new ones, their patina thick and layered, that dark blue-green with a hint of muted green that only age can bring. When the wind comes, the bells ring, not all at once. The one on the east side rings, pauses half a second, then the one on the west side follows, like 2 elders exchanging a question and an answer across the courtyard. You lean against a stone pillar outside the temple gate, listening to the bells ring again and again. You ask for nothing, no fortune-telling, no incense, no prayers. You simply feel that standing here for a while, letting the sound of the bronze bells wash over your heart, is a very good thing. Coming out from Tianmen Mountain Temple, the sky has begun to darken. You do not take the cable car down. You take the world's highest escalator. This is the longest in-mountain escalator in the world, with 12 sections in total, running from the summit all the way to below Heaven's Gate, traveling entirely through the interior of the mountain. You stand on the escalator, and in the tunnel there is only the warm yellow glow of dim wall lamps. The escalator runs slowly downward, not descending, but sinking. You are like a stone slowly sinking into the mountain's interior. Occasionally, there is a small glass window in the tunnel wall. Beyond it are the abyss and the sky slowly darkening in the twilight. You look out through that small window and feel as though you are inside the throat of a giant beast, stealing a glimpse of the outside world through its pores. After the 12 sections of the escalator, you return to the foot of the mountain, standing on solid earth again. You turn around and look at Heaven's Gate one last time. In the twilight, Heaven's Gate is no longer a hole. It is a purple window. The color of the sky shows through its outline, not blue, but a mix of violet and deep orange, the sky's final color after the sun has sunk below the horizon. It hangs there quietly on the mountain at 1,300 meters, like a piece of light held in the mountain's mouth, too precious to swallow. You do not leave right away. You sit down on the stone steps directly beneath Heaven's Gate. The steps still hold a trace of warmth from the sun that has shone on them all day, and it passes through your clothes to your back, like a hand resting gently against you. Night falls completely. The outlines of the mountains blur in the darkness. The distinct summits, cliffs, and pines of the daytime have now dissolved into layers of deep blue, each layer just one shade apart from the next. The sky is deep blue. The first layer of peaks is ink blue. The second layer is navy blue, and the third has already merged with the sky. You cannot see them, but you know they are there. Stars appear one by one. First, the brightest one, directly above Heaven's Gate, like someone has driven a silver nail into the ceiling of the sky. Then the second, the third, more and more, denser and denser. When your eyes have fully adjusted to the darkness, what you see is not dozens of stars, but hundreds, thousands, densely filling the entire outline of Heaven's Gate. The Milky Way spans from one side of the arch to the other, not crossing horizontally, but passing exactly through the center of Heaven's Gate, like a luminous river held aloft by the mountain. You gaze up at the starry sky, your neck aching but unwilling to look down. You think of all the places you have walked through in these 2 days. The wooden gate of the forest park, the morning mist of Yellowstone Village, the soughing pines of Tianzi Mountain, the pebbles of Golden Whip Stream, the green waterfall of the 10-mile gallery, the 1,000-foot void beneath your feet on the glass plank road, the cool wind rushing through Heaven's Gate. Every one of these places is still there. After you close your eyes, they still glow faintly in your heart, just like the stars above. The light of every star you see may have traveled hundreds or thousands of years to reach your eyes. By the time you see it, that star may no longer exist, but it once existed. It once burned. Like the stone peaks you have walked past. 300 million years ago, they were sand on an ancient seabed, and 100 million years from now, they may return to sand. But in this interval of 100 million years, in the moment you walked past them, they truly stood here, and you truly came. The mountain does not remember you, but you remember the mountain. That is enough. You slowly close your eyes. The night wind blows from the far side of Heaven's Gate, across your face, your hair, your eyelashes. The wind carries the scent of fir resin, the coolness of distant mountains, and the deep sweetness of earth moistened by night dew. The same sweetness you smelled this morning by Golden Whip Stream. You slowly, slowly sink downward. The stones stand silent under the night sky. The stream continues to flow in the darkness. In the embrace of the mountain and the stars, you fall deeply asleep. Good night.